Hey guys, welcome back to brainstorming. This is day 2. So again, as we're working, we are considering how do artists work? How do artists make effective design choices? How do they know when their choices are effective? Finally, how do artists learn from trial and error? So again, some of these things we will be discussing as we go. I also hope that you are going to be learning some of these things as you work yourself. Just have these things on your mind as you're working, thinking about how you are addressing these things in your own work as you're getting inside the mindset of an artist by doing. All right. Yesterday, we looked at some of the things about how artists work. They, recognize a problem and they're working towards solving it. The first step to doing that is identifying what the problem is. They identify the limitations that they have to work within. These might be based on what the client needs, or they might be based on what's possible with certain materials that they've got to use. They also identify their variables or choices. So this is an important step because it kind of shows, the artist how much wiggle room they have when they're creating the design, right? The last thing we did yesterday was come up with some ideas for how to interpret the problem. So that we kind of identified this as one of the major points where you've got a lot of freedom, and one of the things that's going to really make your project very different from everyone else's. So how do I interpret my story? The project is to make a 9-square drawing. So a drawing out of 9 squares, they're 4 by 4, that represents your story. All right. So this is all about how do I tell my story? What does that mean to me? Yesterday I identified this one, the people who love and support me, as the one that I thought that I'd like to pursue as my concept for this project. So this is a good first step in the brainstorming. So the second thing that I want to do was kind of try to take this idea and break it down a little bit. Now I know due to my limitations, I have to have 9 4x4 squares. So I wanted to think to myself, okay, so who are these people that I'm going to represent who love and support me, and how am I going to represent them with symbols? Okay, so that's what I did here. All right, so the people who love and support me. So my husband, I made him a dolphin because the dolphin, he always says the dolphin is his spirit animal. They're kind of carefree, and they are very friendly, so he is represented by the dolphin. And then I've got one grandmother, she collected stones, so I'm going to draw a bunch of crystals to represent her. And then the other grandmother, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to use, but I definitely want to incorporate the idea that she cooked and was a baker. So she cooks a lot and she's a baker, into how I represent her. Symbols from my aunt. I had a lot of different ideas here, you can see. And none of these are just really like rough. Nothing here took me more than, 30 or 40 seconds to draw. I drew it all without reference, just right out of my head, whatever I could come up with right off the top of my head that represented these people to me. So my aunt, she's very loyal, and she's also always had dogs. So I've got a dog maybe to represent her. And I thought, well, she also loves flowers. This is my really bad steering wheel. This was, like, you see what I'm saying, 30 seconds. All that's important at this sketching stage is that I know what it is, because she always used to take us, me and my brother, on trips all the time. And she really enjoyed taking us places. So the last one I have is a succulent plant, or it's supposed to represent a succulent plant, because she has a lot of succulent plants as well. And we always go to the farmer's market and get plants and things for her. My mom, I was thinking about representing with some kind of bones, because my mom's an x-ray tech. I had a skull here, and I thought, well, I'm going to put these bones behind it, but it actually ended up looking like the symbol for poison, And come to think of it, I probably don't want to represent my mom as poison in my drawing. So that is an example of maybe thinking, you know, getting something down on paper and then realizing maybe it's not what you want, and that's fine. At this early in the design stage, I want everything to be super quick. I don't want to invest a lot of time or materials into doing it. I just want to get my ideas on paper and as many ideas as I can so I can see what I'm dealing with, and things like this are going to come up along the way where you're like, nope, I don't really want to represent my mom as poison. It's good to get that kind of stuff on the paper so that you realize what you're thinking. My sister, I thought I might represent her as the Strength Tarot card. The Strength Tarot card, you can't really see much here. Like I said, it's just a quick little doodle. But it's a woman holding a lion's mouth open. And she's also a Leo, so double representation there because she's got the lion for Leo. And she's a very, very strong person, so I think that'd be a good representation for her. My stepmom, man, is she ever wacky. So here's my SpongeBob to represent my stepmom. She always does that SpongeBob laugh that I can't ever do. It's like, you know what I'm talking about, that I can't do it. But she always does it, and it's enough to make your skin crawl sometimes. But so I've got SpongeBob there. That's my crude, badly drawn SpongeBob. Here's my 2-second flamingo, because my stepmom Valerie, she loves Florida and palm trees. I think maybe those could represent her, and maybe they would be, you know, an easier fit into a composition than SpongeBob. SpongeBob kind of feels way out of left field for what I've got here so far. So I've got also my friends. So I've got like a heart with paintbrushes in it because a lot of my friends are artists and we talk about art. I've also got my students and coworkers. I didn't put the symbol here because I drew it in this little thing, but I have like almost like a little kind of apple with paint inside of it. So I'm thinking of making it like a combination, like apple and paint palette to represent teaching and my students. Then I started thinking like, okay, gee, I've got these really, really, you can see here, like such different things. Oh my gosh, how am I going to put these together in any way that makes any kind of logical sense? I have no idea. And so what I thought, well, maybe I could put them together with a sort of form that unified them, like almost like a tree, like they were all leaves growing off of one tree, or they were all parts of one plant. And then I really thought, this one appealed to me, the idea of a spine. Because like I said, all these people love and support me, and your spine supports your body. So that really, you know, kind of struck me, that idea of a spine. So I did like, this was like my 30-second doodle of trying to fit all these things together. And I thought, well, can I do it? And I tried it in a really rough way. And I thought, well, yeah, okay, I think I can do that. So you probably don't recognize many of the symbols. Here's the flamingo right there, and the rocks, and the dolphin. It looks more like a kind of chubby manatee at this point, but trust me, it's here. Like I said, when you're at this stage and you're coming up with ideas, you just want to get as much down on the paper as quickly as you can, because this is the time, you know, when you've got so many different ideas, and you're sorting through things, and you might have things that don't work out, and, you know, or you might have something that you have to rethink like 10 different times. So at this stage, you want to make everything super quick. You don't want to invest a lot of time or resources into this part. You definitely want to invest your thoughts, and you want to try out a lot of options, but you want to keep everything really quick at this phase, because you're going to have to go through a lot of different ideas before you arrive at something that works for you. Okay, so I thought, well, yes, I'm going to go with this spine premise. I feel pretty good about it. So I got to a place where I had an idea that I felt pretty good about, and I wanted to try it out. So the next page is my sample sketch. So, okay. So this is where I am right now with my plan for my 9 square drawing. So you can see I sketched out my 9 squares, okay? And they're here, and each of these squares has one of my symbols for a person who loves and supports me within it. And I actually figured out the spine, you know, it represents me and the support, you know, that they're giving me, because the spine supports the body. But I also figured out that it kind of represents my mom. I told you my mom was the, you know, x-ray tech. So I like that, you know, that it can be, that spine can serve double duty as a symbol. So here I've got my apple that's going to be an art palette and have paint coming out of it. On this side, it's kind of small right now, but can you see the little sunset and the dolphins splashing up? This side of the hip bone coming out of the spine, there's also going to be water, and on this side there's going to be fire. All right, so growing up around the spine here, I'm going to have all of my plants and flowers for my aunt, to represent my aunt. On this side, I'm going to have my Strengths Tarot card to represent my sister. On this side, I changed up the symbol a little bit. It's a portrait. It's going to be like a portrait on canvas, and that's going to represent my art friends. I wanted something that was going to kind of... I put this here, this card shape, and I thought it was really awkward just by itself. So I wanted something to mirror it on the other side. So that's right there. That's a design choice that I made there. I felt like that shape needed some balance because everything else was very organic in my design. Let's see what else we got here. Up top here is my, they're going to be crystals growing around my spine to represent my other grandmother, my grandmother Ballinger. And then here's my flamingo. I decided to go with a flamingo over SpongeBob for my stepmom. She loves Florida. And I'm thinking I'm going to try to, like I said, there was water coming out of here, and these sort of, there's going to be these kind of Florida dolphin-y colors down here. So I'm going to try to balance out diagonally, like those Florida dolphin-y kind of colors and water up here. So I'm going to make the color in this one similar to the color in this one, because I feel like those are going to have really bright colors. Up here up top is the one from my grandmother that I said baked. So I've got a couple hands like holding a pie, kind of the pie is tipping into the space. And I saw, it was kind of weird, I saw this connection between the dolphin and the, help me out here, the flamingo. There we go. I saw that connection. Then I thought, well, there's a connection between the pie and the apple. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, because you can have like, I guess because they're both food to me, I thought, well, there's a connection there too. So maybe I'll try, because I've got the balance of shape here to here. Then I'll have the balance of color from here to here. I might try to make the colors from here to here kind of similar too. So I haven't got any color in here now, but I'm already thinking like, how do I create unity in this design? Because, you know, it's going to be really easy for this design to be chaotic. So I'm going to have to strategically come up with some ways to unify this design. All right. So today I want you guys, hopefully you've chosen what concept you want to go with for how to represent yourself. Like I chose the people who love and support me. So hopefully you've chosen for yourself how you want to represent that. I would start by coming up with some ideas, some quick little sketches, just quick. I'm talking these were so quick. These were like less than 30 seconds for each sketch. So some quick ideas about how you want to represent those. Maybe try a quick sketch about how to fit it together. And then try something that's a little bit more detailed, that's going to show the whole thing coming together. Now, to get to this point, you know, you might, to be fair, you might have to do a little bit of research, because you know, when I made this, like I've drawn spines before, but I don't know just out of my head how to draw a spine. So I had to look up a spine and get a good photo reference for that. Now, depending on what you're drawing, you might have to do a little research to find what you need to make your drawing work. So anyway, that is brainstorming day 2. I can't wait to see what kind of ideas you guys are coming up with and how you want to represent your story. Bye.